From Significant, this is Crack It in an Hour.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. I'm Simon.
I'm Biz, and I'm tired, but I'm here.
And I'm Roman, and that's it. We got Biz to say.
We got Biz. Exactly. Did you just get upgraded from regular to guest host?
I guess so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I didn't resist it today.
No,
I don't know why. I guess
Exactly.
my guard's down. I'm a little tired.
For those of you who know, you know the deal. It's one problem, 1 hour to crack it once a week. For those of you who don't, I just told you the deal. Today, Roman knows the problem to crack. Biz and I don't. So we're going to listen to what Roman's got for us. We haven't heard anything about this before. Let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's get the clock. Biz, you're the master of the clock. Did you start the clock?
Yeah, I started
wow.
before. We have...
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have 58 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Crack it in 58 today.
Here we go.
So today is a bit of like innovation format innovation.
I like
should
this.
say.
This is great.
It's something I've actually had in mind for a while, and then I don't know why it came up this week. I literally can't remember. It might be a recurring series, and I want to talk about a brand. We've actually never talked about a brand.
No, we haven't.
We always talk about business opportunities, big societal issues, like smaller, meaningless issues that are really fun to talk about.
Industries
that turn into like business opportunities, but. The subject today is about saving a household name that's kind of become a legend, and that brand is Tupperware.
Interesting. Okay.
I didn't know it was an actual brand.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's a phenomenal start.
My
Phenomenal
gosh.
start.
Yeah.
I
So-
love this.
Should I date it up, or should I let you talk about the fact you didn't know it was a brand?
Oh, I'm interested to hear some of the stats.
All right. I'm going to give you, I think the first good thing to do is a little trip down memory lane on that brand, because it's a household name brand for a reason, and it's somewhat of a historical brand because it's like in the
Unique marketing too.
unique marketing. We're going to talk about that a lot, I think. So in the mid 20th century, it basically created and dominated the category. It grew through that unique, I guess it's marketing and distribution. First and foremost was like unique distribution model through what they call like the Tupperware parties. It made them famous through that lens.
Do you know like Mary Kay?
Yeah,
do you know
that's
other brands
what I
that
was just
function on
thinking
that?
about that.
Yeah, it's
and
a similar thing to that.
Yeah, it's early pyramid schemes, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that. It's got a scent of it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. It's early is a good way to say it. Right?
Yeah.
So probably what inspired it.
Yeah.
The dominance faded in the 80s. Interestingly, when the patent expired, it makes sense. But when you don't know it, you're like, wait, what happened? So then the now dominant player, Rubbermaid, showed up, which now belongs to a company called Newell. And so that when it started changing. But if you look at the revenue historically, and I have those numbers courtesy of Reuters, it went public in 96 at 1.37 billion in revenue, Tupperware. It passed 2 billion in revenue in 2008.
So 12 years to grow 25%.
It peaked revenue at
quick math.
2.67 billion in 2013. That was the peak.
How much? 2.67?
Wait, when?
2.67, 2013.
Okay.
So we're getting recent. And then it halved in the following 9 years. It got to 1.3 billion by 2022. Quick side note, in 2023, when it was like doing really, really bad.
Yeah.
90% of the sales, 2023, that's 2 years ago, 90% of the sales were through still the direct selling method.
Really?
Yes, 90%.
I'm shocked. I didn't know that was still.
Wait,
They only
how?
went to Amazon in 2022.
Wait,
Can you imagine?
is this real?
It is real. This is all like...
Is this like money laundering? Like what?
No. So by then they were bleeding cash. They were losing 50 million a quarter, 200 million a year. And then they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
In 2024. So basically a year ago, end of Q4 of 2024, they go bankrupt. They filed for Chapter 11. Chapter 11 lets you operate the business. It basically, you keep operating while you negotiate new terms, or you basically negotiate with your lenders or the creditors. Some of the lenders put some cash in, forgave some debt, and took over. So it's still operating. So for a consumer, if you're not interested in like the press, the business headlines, you probably don't know they went bankrupt. And it's business as usual. The brand still exists, the products are still out there, and now it's been taken over by another group of operators, right? The business is in trouble. It's the first year where that has been taken over. Massive, as you can imagine, cost cutting, reimagining the future of the business, the whole business strategy. So it seems like, right, we're just a year in, so it's not that much. Not even a year in, because it was.
Why did it half so dramatically? Are you going to get to that? That period of it going, like having your revenues an insane drop.
Yeah. Well, I think I gave you the answer when I told you 90% of the revenue was direct sale in 2023.
You think it was just that direct sale model kind of like crumpled over its
the competition built, a modern company.
But
and these guys stayed on antiquated pillars.
Yeah. Like around the distribution.
And then my reaction changes to, wow, I can't believe that model worked as long as it did.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But that's conversation for another time.
So there's a guy who was in the leadership team in charge of restructuring the business during the bankruptcy. And he literally wrote in the filing, nearly everyone now knows what Tupperware is, but fewer people know where to find it.
That's true.
And I
totally agree.
I think that's the only quote I took, because that to me is the summary of why. Yeah. Like distribution, then obviously marketing, and then, where would you find it if you're not that generation?
That's
like
wild.
Literally in 2017, 2018, 2019, like you and I are the target audience, and our families and our wives.
We
and all of this.
redo a whole cycle of that stuff every few years. Exactly. You know what I mean? Where you get a whole new bunch of the resealable things, and then
I did check at my kitchen, and it's mostly Rubbermaid.
I know mine are a collection of them. Rubbermaid's definitely in there for sure. Yeah. I think we have a few Glad. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But we don't have. I know we have a few old Tupperware things because they're very specific things. Like we have like a marinating thing, and stuff like that.
I couldn't even tell you
what's what.
Totally.
I wouldn't have been able to if I hadn't checked.
The logo. I don't even know. I didn't even know this was a brand. I thought it was a category.
Like Kleenex.
I mean, even
they're one of those.
Yeah, but even with Kleenex, you know it's a brand.
Now you do, but maybe some people don't.
Yeah. Rubbermaid was like vacuum. Like that's just what you call resealable. Tupperware, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Great point, Simon. I thought it was the description of a product.
Yeah.
To me, it was like the introduction of plastic in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's Tupperware.
That's a subject that we got to talk about, I think. Yeah. And so basically what they're doing, apparently, from the outside, digital first, new product lines. They literally just launched a glass container line.
Smart.
A little late to the party, but
hey,
essential.
That's all that I'll use.
Essential in a category.
Yeah.
Restructuring international. They partner with a French entrepreneur in France to look at European expansion and reattacking those markets. Innovation, market expansion in some other markets like Brazil. They're piloting retail and simplify.
Piloting retail as in-person retail?
Yeah. Supply chain simplification. It was they had to close down the factory in the US, and they're now all out of Mexico. So holistically, you can sense obviously new energy. And so I think the question for us is really from a marketing standpoint, what do you do with a historical brand like that?
I love it.
That's completely lost its juju.
I love it. I have a lot of thoughts. None of them are particularly lucid or clear yet, but one question I had just based on what you're talking about is like, was Tupperware known in like France? Like, is it an international brand?
Yeah,
it was. Okay.
Yeah. At their peak, a little over a third of their business was in Asia Pacific.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so
Like
they are very
it was above
international
North
brand.
America.
Yeah.
Yes, because it was the I don't know how it's called, direct selling model. Let's call it.
Yeah.
It's like original
what-
DTC, right? Like,
Well, DTC is kind of like even physical retail is DTC.
yeah, I guess so.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But wait, so sorry. The direct selling model was very was a good fit for certain Asian cultures
Mm-hmm.
and not others. Like I think it's legally prohibited in China, but like in cultures like Indonesia, for some
Gotcha.
reason that I'm not familiar with the Indonesian culture, it worked really well. So it was definitely a global business.
Wow. Okay. So what do you mean? What's the brand equity right now? Like, I mean, the fact that everyone knows your name doesn't hurt. The fact that you invented a category is interesting too. Now you got glass, which is really cool. You're starting to go into places. I still, the reason I asked that was just because I was like, is it considered an American brand or not so much?
Yeah, probably, because you can't, like, the name is, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
The name, it's so difficult to pronounce. Like, it is definitely English. Is it American or English? I don't know.
It started by a person with the last name Tupper, right?
Yes.
Is that how it started?
Yeah. Tupperware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, its DNA is interesting when you think about it,
Yeah.
right? There's like, there is some, I don't want to use that term because definitely wasn't that. And it's not eco consciousness, but there's some, like, it is about preserving food, right? It is about like leftovers and not waste. Like, let's say anti-waste versus eco-consciousness.
Yes.
Right. There is an anti-waste thing in the DNA because that's what the product does.
And if I was to go a step further than that too, part of their DNA too was it was sort of like, you can have a piece from the 70s and it still works. It's still functional. It's still good quality. Like they were like, compared to a lot of the people in that space now that are a little more like, it's going to fall apart. You know what I mean?
I think you're correct at face value, but now we know that plastic.
You're not supposed to have plastic
over time is not a good idea.
Yeah.
But
this is like so, it's so dumb, but there are these memes of people saying, like, from the perspective of the Tupperware or to-go container that has the spaghetti sauce stain around it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As like the forgotten sleazy container in your cabinet that you won't throw away, but you don't want to use.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking about.
Sorry, keep talking. No,
Do you know?
seriously. No, I'm not sure I know what you mean. I know what you mean when you visualize that the sauce that's left on the container.
Yeah, and it's the one left in the drawer.
Okay, yeah.
That you don't want to use,
it.
but for some reason you won't throw it away.
And you can't put certain foods in it because then it'll taste like spaghetti.
Yeah. So there's people on TikTok with like literally spaghetti sauce around their mouth,
really good
from the perspective of being this container.
So there you go.
I love it.
But that's where this brand should go.
Yeah.
How do you
Like,
make people care about this? Because
But
to me, go ahead. Sorry, Biz.
I think it's purely like outsized brand awareness. Like that, if they're getting the distribution, you're looking at me like,
No, I like
I'm an
where you're
idiot.
No, do I sometimes do that? No, Biz, I don't think you're an idiot.
Thank you. Well, I can sleep tonight. I mean, if they're getting they've corrected the distribution, right?
They are. It seems like
they're
they
in the
are for sure.
process.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's sort of the two ends of the extreme. It's like, well, I'll start with the awareness thing quick. Like no one's going to care that they were the first, right? I think we've seen that over and over again, especially in a category like that. Like even with categories that people care about.
No, exactly.
Being
no one
like,
cares
but
that
we were
Atari
first.
was the first video game.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, because it's just on a human.
People love video games.
On a human level, it's like the worst thing. It's like, yeah, but I did that first. It's like,
it's like, screw you.
Like,
all right, cool guy.
Yeah, you did.
I like that band before you.
Yeah. But there's so many like low cost ways online to really raise awareness out of nowhere. I think about that like Nutter Butter on TikTok.
They just went full blown
weird. And I'm not saying that they would have to go weird, but they definitely have opportunity to go weird.
Yeah.
Because there's no like preciousness with the brand. besides maybe the plastic thing. You know what I mean? But like, other than that, there's not a whole lot of sensitivities around the brand. There's not a cultural association with the brand anymore, especially. No. So it's an open slate to just do like weird entertainment that works well.
Can I tell you online also why that's interesting and way in is because functionally speaking, you've had a company that no one knows how to buy it forever. You know what I mean? Like you've literally been like, do you know someone who sells Tupperware?
Yeah.
Tough luck. You can't buy Tupperware. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now they've moved to this system that's all online, I imagine. Right? Yeah. And so it's like show up online and just basically scream Tupperware as many different weird ways you can. That's a first step. Obviously, you need to define and establish your brand.
You have to because you have to imagine like you're a startup.
But you're right. My question, and I guess you might know, is like, do you know anything about their price point? Like, are they coming in at the same? Because like there are some like that you buy literally because you're shopping and you can get a 5-pack for $10.
They're on the premium side.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's competing at that level? Like, is it?
I mean,
Rubbermaid
and
all the
now
other
with the
ones
glass
versions of it, right?
Is it OXO? Is that how you
pronounce it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's a bunch.
Yeah,
and then there's
that
like
makes
distributors
sense.
brands like Target probably has their own brand.
But I also I wonder too if it's like it's the generic brands. It's Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
where
totally.
you can buy, glass containers.
Yeah, totally.
In big packs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, Amazon's.
But that's why I think it's like pure no rationale. You're winning on share of voice, awareness.
I don't think something
when you have startup money, which is basically nothing.
Yeah,
you need to be very, very thoughtful about how you spend every single dollar. And so I do think you can't like, no pun intended, throw spaghetti at the wall.
Right.
You have to be like,
who's your target?
Let's talk about it. Who's the target?
Who's the audience? Who are you going to be able to convert into specifically spending a little extra and going the DTC road for things? I mean, the easy answer is probably going to say moms to start.
Yeah, but
families,
moms like more on the millennial side, like than like, you see what I mean? Like, not even older millennials, I would say, because like
you could spin this.
This has to become an internet brand.
There's a couple people.
But look at Stanley.
Yeah.
How did Stanley? Totally. I looked at Stanley. I was like, what's the parallel of a brand that's literally just the product is. There's so much competition in the product that the brand did a lot of the work, right?
Yeah.
And Stanley, I think, is a good example. Stanley, they 10x'd in a matter of 5 years from 75 mil, and not from 1 to 10, from 75 mil to 750 in like from between 2019 and 2023.
But here's my question though. Like, there's a difference of product innovation versus purely just with what they have now. Like, are they doing a lot of innovation? Because
for them, they just launched glass, but
beyond that, because to me, beyond marketing, that's sort of like what they did was they invented this category, right? At a premium level.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the novelty of it, right? And now they've been here, but re-entering in some ways the category.
Yeah.
And they're, instead of playing catch up, or they're, instead of being sort of at the top and being the leaders and the innovators of the category, now they're trying to play catch up, and they're just like trying to get ahead. But what if it actually was shifted where they were putting efforts toward innovation again for the categorry,
Yeah.
That's the long-term thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
But
I was running with this, and this is all assumption. I was running with the Roman assumption, which is like
it's
got
purely
2 pennies
marketing
to their name.
Yeah.
They just launched some products. They got a warehouse full of them, and they're like, how the hell do we get rid of these products?
Memes.
But you're right. I totally agree. That part you can clearly see. Like, I think there's a way that they could own sort of the reconsideration of how you take care of your food. That's very in line with like, wellness is a strong word for this world, but sort of like that more like, like conscious living kind of conceit sort of thing.
I don't know.
No, I think we got to talk about all
Let's
of
keep
this.
going. I'm not saying that needs to be that one.
It's not a yes or no.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is interesting and it's valid. It's valid. Conscious living.
It's super valid.
Empowerment. There's plenty of big terms that are valid, but now how do we go from valid to interesting?
Yes, exactly.
Right? And so I think we got
and
to...
who's the audience?
We
Who
got
do we
to
think the audience
unpack
is?
all of this. Well, that's why that's how I went to Stanley.
Yeah.
Like, who was the audience originally for Stanley?
I mean, that was because of
moms?
the Mormon moms.
Mormon
basically
moms,
made
right?
it explode, right?
Yeah.
Like that was like this group of Mormon moms. I'm generalizing, but there's a website where they petitioned and said, if you make 10,000 of these, we'll sell all 10,000. And they sold out super fast. Yeah. And they said, cool, give us another 10,000. They sold out super fast. And they went, oh crap, there's a huge market for these things.
That's actually super interesting. I mean, the DNA of the brand was basically that.
Yeah.
How do you reinvent that?
Yeah.
Or not reinvent it. I mean, to you guys' point, brands are doing it.
Yeah.
So you start with these sort of advocates and then you sell it through them online.
That's what I was thinking when I first read it. And I didn't want to say it because I have the benefit of research. But the direct selling model is basically TikTok.
Yeah. So you do
you
basically modernize direct selling.
Direct selling.
Yeah.
And you reclaim.
That's pretty smart.
Like,
I like your ideas.
TikTok is that.
I'd work with you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys got good ideas. That's interesting. You're right. So you basically go through all the affiliates to go after the target that you're going to go after, talking about how literally it's back. I think part of the, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it.
Part of the novelty with Tupperware before was that like a lot of those other ones, they do pretty standard stuff. Tupperware did like a lot more interesting looking things. And it was like a little more aesthetically driven.
Is that true today? Do you know, when you researched, did you look at any of the products?
I did.
Do they look a little different or is it still playing catch up?
They look premium.
Okay.
They don't, I don't think they're not standing out in design and in communications, visual communications either. There's probably an opportunity there.
Yeah.
But so who's your audience?
I mean, I know it's a generalization, but I think it's families. I think it's young families for sure.
It could be. I also wonder, is it people meal prep? Like so much of TikTok is a lot of young guys meal prepping, fitness oriented, using Tupperware or containers for food.
Those
I don't
like
even
plastic
know.
containers?
This is how much Tupperware is a category for me. I struggle with what to even call these things if it's not Tupperware. I guess
containers.
It's containers?
Resealable containers.
Easy, very easy. Rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah. I won't stutter with that one. But these are people that are using it every day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in multiple forms.
So you do like a kitchen collab with some of the, like an interesting chef and you start
how many entertainment food shows are there?
Totally.
There's got to be something in there for them.
It could be, but it could be foodies like that. It could be people that are making excess meals because they're cooking out of the joy of trying this new recipe from New York Times. And then they have all this leftover, I don't know, reinvention of meatloaf that they saw that now they have to get through for the week.
How do you make it? Because like what you're talking about is now elevating the brand, right? Like the choice of experts, the choice of people who care about food sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm
not against it.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it.
I'm trying to find different ways at it.
I love that.
My assumption would be,
I'm going very practical, sadly. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's a way at it.
Yeah.
And I think there's ways to do multiple layers at once. I think that's sort of the beauty of like social now. You know what I mean?
You're right.
You can do just like a lot of different things at once without being so sort of specific and linear about it. A big bulk of the category, I would assume, is being purchased by what you're talking about, families and moms.
But they still like food. They still think, they still follow food.
Exactly.
Honestly, anyone
So how do you multi-dimensionalize
it's not just families. I think families is likely a big one, but like anyone who has the purchasing power and has a roof over their heads and a fridge will be
their potential audience.
We're premium. Recently we talked about this new segment of the population that's a millennial audience, sometimes with no kids, that is like realizing that they actually have some money now and they're starting to make six figures and they're like, wait, I actually have some leftover money at the end of the year. Like those people also, it doesn't need to be families. I think families are part of it, undeniably.
Yeah.
But
But that can't be the angle in.
No, but
No, I'm talking about the audience.
Yeah,
it's still
that's what I'm saying,
audience.
though.
Then the angle in has to be their centers of interest.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying though, is like there's a whole like I think that gym bros are actually really interesting.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
audience for this.
Because they eat out of it.
Yeah, and it's
As one, I totally know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Dude, you show up at
Yeah.
work actually with one with your yogurt in sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah,
I totally
you
do.
eat out of it.
Yeah.
Gym bro.
totally.
Yeah, I'm a gym bro. Sometimes it's protein powder in it. That's because I'm an old man and my muscle mass is deteriorating.
Yeah, you literally were eating protein power yogurt the
Yeah.
other day out of a,
Yeah.
out of a
Yeah.
container. Yeah.
I told you guys, I'm a gym bro.
Sorry, I forgot.
No. This is interesting
Sorry,
though,
I
because
interrupted your train
I
of thought.
forgot. No, yeah, I mean, I think there is something around like going at it in different ways, unexpected ways.
yeah,
Which someone like this audience, who's kind of what you're talking about too. These are. It doesn't need to just be bros. I mean, it's people that have a routine around their life, that are working a 9 to 5, who are trying to either budget money or like be better about what they consume, and they have routine around food, and usually that involves bringing your lunches to work, which immediately is a 5-day out of the week situation, right?
yeah.
For usage of the brand over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, now you're getting into the wellness world pretty directly too, right? Like the health and wellness world, and that's an interesting spot too, right? Which is like people who are incredibly regimented. Typically are going to need containers to carry around the food that they're eating and stuff like that.
But that
too.
stuff starts getting specific around the glass. And I wonder,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because as soon as you go too deep into the wellness world, they're going to get really territorial over it being glass or plastic. But like, I would imagine like the bulk of the opportunity is probably not with glass, but I don't know for sure.
I don't know either.
Nurses are coming to mind. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just sort of like structure, routine. I'm trying to think about like
Well,
the
I mean,
career.
you can even go to like, you know, like shift workers who bring food to work. Like there's so many things where it's like people need to pick up, like I need to store my leftovers. I need to carry my food to work. I need to carry my food somewhere else. If you want to get nuts, you can get into like camping and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
but I think one of the powerful things about the mom conversation with Stanley was the network of, and we were talking about this for something else too, right? Is that there's within this like community of being a parent, you are going to other parents online for so much advice, and there's so much connection. And I think the fitness world also has that online of like, hey, I just got a gym membership, I need to figure out what to do. I think that's what I'm trying to think of, is like the distinction of like a specific audience and then someone who already is looking for trusted advice online through that community or audience. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And how do you leverage that? Because moms is a really great example of it, but there are other areas too that are maybe less expected as an opportunity.
when you looked at their website, did they speak to any real product differentiation?
Good question.
Whether you believed it or not.
Maybe.
Because, like, you know what I mean?
Know
like,
if they currently have any patent anywhere.
Stick.
It didn't stick. No, it's so functional to me that it's like, some of them have the little like air thing on top, like the air seal, but now they all have it. I'm guessing someone had a patent on it at some point. Maybe it was them, maybe it was someone else. I don't know.
Can you think of something that was kind of, I mean, let's avoid food and drink for a second, but like day-to-day product, can you think of something where in a world where they were all basically the same product, one brand kind of came out on top? And I know there's probably people listening screaming right now into the podcast about a million versions of this, but like, you know what I mean? Like what is an example of like
Nike,
So
whichever.
Nike,
what's the best-selling truck today in America? Is it a F-250,
Ford
F-150, or is it a Toyota? I don't even know, but whoever wins that battle, to me, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
I think this is literally...
And it's brand that helped them win.
Yeah.
I mean, Nike, I'd push back on slightly, just because I think there was some product innovation along the way that allowed them to at least appear different. Than
I
others.
mean, for cars too.
Yeah.
Like,
But like with like, I'm talking about like literally like a pen. You know what I mean? Like something that you're going like,
you're
okay,
talking about toilet paper.
yeah, like something where you're entering into an arms race where you're basically like all probably selling a version of the same product.
Every category has their own definition of innovation.
Yeah,
so I think
that's a good point.
I think that's a very complicated
I agree.
Question to answer.
Yeah.
Because then if you ask someone who's an expert in the category, you're like, wait, of course we had innovation. Like that
totally.
pen were the only ones who made the
the clickable pen thing.
clickable
Yeah.
half a second less than the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I mean? It's
I know. You're right.
I think it's
I'm being too reductive.
It's a very tough one. I think what could be interesting to think about is what brands have made a big comeback.
Yeah.
Keep going. Where's your head go there?
I don't know what brands have made
Stanley,
a big comeback.
Obviously.
Did they come back? Were they something before? I don't know. I don't know of them.
I mean, they were a completely different brand before.
Okay.
They were like the brand for, and they still actually lean on that a lot, which is like, it was like a blue collar, like lunch pail brand, you know? And I mean that literally, like lunch pails, thermoses, stuff like that. Camping stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was that sort of
old
stuff
school
before.
Hardy.
Yeah, exactly. You're either going outside or you're going to work. And Stanley's,
it was actually a very masculine brand. I think.
Yeah.
I read that
Red
somewhere. So fashion's a little different.
Yeah,
fashion you can probably find like 10.
Yeah,
easy.
you're right. Because fashion's cyclical.
Yeah. The first one that comes to mind,
and it has to do with expression.
Lego.
Yeah. Lego. But Lego did that through, what's it called, right? Partnerships.
So maybe it's something we should be talking about.
Well, I think that's where when you get to like chefs and stuff like that,
the media
that
thing
becomes really easy.
But brand partnerships, because chefs you got to buy. Much harder. You see what I mean? There's a lot of spend.
So you're saying
that's
like
do
like I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well,
I mean, you could do plenty of other types of deals. You don't
like
have
do
to
Mickey Mouse
buy,
Tupperware sort of thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Mm.
Not exactly Mickey Mouse.
No,
but
I know.
but what is the Mickey Mouse actually? That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that would work.
Stanley did a lot.
Stanley did
influencer collabs. Blah, blah, blah.
Crocs did that exact same thing too.
Did you know that? I didn't know that, and maybe you're gonna be like, yeah, duh. The dude who was CMO at Crocs and made Crocs kind of cool was at the time it became cool. Then was the CEO at Stanley at the time they exploded. Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah,
guy's on a heater.
And,
wow.
Yeah, and I
incredible.
didn't know that either. Stanley, the explosion of Stanley also started when they had that video of a woman in a car accident.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Where the only thing that was left is a Stanley. And
Ice was still in it.
And the ice was still in it.
So amazing.
Yeah.
I could only ever like pray for something like that.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they would even dare to claim it on their website.
Yeah.
And it happens. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing.
So partnerships, I think, is a big one.
Yeah.
All those brands.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally do one with like a rising protein brand powder. Like you could, this is like all of those protein powders come in big plastic containers. And one of the issues with protein powder is you're buying such huge quantities of it and it goes bad so quickly. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, is there some partnership around that introduces product innovation that's a little longer?
Oh, that's interesting.
But then there's also things like, you have like just branded Tupperware, the Mickey Mouse example or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there's things like to the food thing. Is it like partnerships where if you buy a bundle set of Tupperware, you get New York Times Cooking free for a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes sort of like that too. Like the streaming world does that so well. Where it's, you're buying a phone thing and then you're also getting Hulu for free for the year.
I think you're circling around something interesting that like is starting to feel like somewhat of a bit of a brand identity, which is like there's a lot of other ones that speak to how functional it is, like we contain stuff. Whereas there's something interesting in this idea of like positioning yourself as like we celebrate and respect food or something like that. You know what I mean? Like this idea of like sort of like not just like a preserver, but we love food so much. That's why we work with chefs. That's why we work with all these people. That's why we do all these sort of things. I don't know where it goes yet, but I'm just starting to get into like creative brand positioning world sort of thing too.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen anyone really like, you know what I mean? Like there's like sur la table and like certain types of things. There's knife sets, there's other things. And there's something interesting about sort of positioning Tupperware as like in that world of like for lovers of food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't know if that position exists in that. And it seems like it's like sitting there. And the thing I want to be clear about too is I still love your idea of like the brand doesn't need to be singular, especially online too, in a way too. Because I think like if I was to take that idea of like a celebration of food, you could do everything as like partnerships with chefs to like partnerships with like mukbangers. You know what I mean? Like you could go all over the world with it.
Yeah.
But you're always showing
playing
up
with that meme with the spaghetti sauce.
Exactly. To play with that meme with the spaghetti where you're just always talking about being a part of food culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that starts to get kind of like interesting and warm and who like you can't escape food culture. Everyone has a different version of it in their life, whether it's like looking up the easy recipes to feed 5 kids for under $10 all the way to look at me eat a head of lettuce like it's an apple. You know what I mean? Like it is everywhere.
It's really interesting though, because like I think in our jobs every day we work as hard as we can to get to singularity and precision and clarity, simplicity, right? All of it. And increasingly we're seeing a crop of brands, like you're saying, Biz, who are like actually, I think that there's probably commonality in the behavior, but you could argue the positioning could change if you looked at it through a different way. And what do you make of that? You see what I mean? Like, because like saying we celebrate food, I buy it 100%. Is it too wide or is it good because it enables us to do plenty of things?
And
I guess to put the question differently, that's the question.
I like the idea though of what you're getting at, which is like precious cargo, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why you would want to buy any container.
Yeah. You're talking about
with
a suitcase.
Thought
Yeah.
Because you care about what's going inside that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so interesting.
You spent
Suitcase.
a day making that mole sauce. You're going to put it in the greasy spaghetti container?
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
But it's also, there's something about like, you know, maybe you're not a foodie, but you really care about the organization in your life and what you put in that and the meal prep of it, or, you know what I mean? But I agree. There's like ways to like, it's finding the right altitude of the reason for existing that isn't so specific that, because to me, like what they need to do is be audacious a little bit.
Now you're playing in a different, you've taken me to another place.
Taken me to another thing.
Okay.
You go first.
But there's this interesting idea when you mentioned precious cargo and stuff, which is like, take care of anything that matters. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of these things too can also ladder up into like for example, when my wife is done with one of my kids get old and they get out of their clothes, there's still some clothes she wants to keep just for nostalgia's sake. And she puts it in a big tub and puts it in our garage. There's something interesting in sort of like what you're talking about that starts as a food thing, which is you cared about this food enough to save it or to make it and put it away or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So clearly it has value to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then saying like a container for valuable things.
Yeah.
Starts to get kind of like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Especially like it's so tangible too. And I think people are craving, like there's so many trends right now of young people online that are like starting scrapbooks and starting like photo memory albums and things like that, because it's just the collection of tangible, valuable things is so big right now.
You look at them different. I mean, my daughter, again, she's a tween and like she has the Polaroids that she'll like put up on her walls, and then she'll have the hundreds of photos she takes with her camera that she'll never look at again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they have different value to her.
Yeah.
The value thing is super interesting. I think it's super rich. And you also said something, you're talking about suitcase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's like, why do people buy Rimowa?
Totally. Exactly.
Like,
that's where
and I know it's not the same price point, etc. But there's still like, how do you sell something premium in a category that is literally just function?
It's all function.
And that's interesting when I see you, like, how do you How do you make people click when someone shows up at the office with a Tupperware box versus a Rubbermaid?
You kind of have to get into a bit of the like expression and status
You
of
do,
it. Because I
you
think
totally
that's the
do.
suitcase thing, right?
Totally.
And it's like, they all kind of function the same. Maybe some of them are a little bit,
Yeah,
they'll
that's what I'm
last a little
saying.
bit longer.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
but what it is it's like when you're standing in the security line at the airport, you want the status of your watch to match the status of your suitcase.
Totally.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say when
yeah.
I say, how do we make people click when Simon walks in
Yeah.
here with his Tupperware thing? How do you make that as a status thing?
And I think right now it's like a value thing, right? It's like the glass versus plastic. Like
It is.
I paid a little bit more for this glass because I care about this thing because this is,
Yeah.
you know,
Or
what I
even
mean?
like I pay attention, I bring my own lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
But how do you dive into that deeper? I think is interesting.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
could say, like, if you're carrying this around, it's suddenly like almost like it's like a bit of a signal too that it's like, I got something important in here. I got
It's
something valuable
quality.
in here. It's quality.
Like,
I'm not just eating slop. This isn't.
Yes.
I'm not microwaving some food. I put
Yes.
something in here that's of value and worth protecting. That's interesting.
So a lot of these solutions we're proposing though require innovation, product innovation.
I don't know if they do right away
No.
though. I don't think they do
this
right
one
away.
I think does because we're saying that we're not even sure that the product line that's out there right now looks that different than the other ones.
But you make it look different with a partnership. So just imagine Simon shows up with his Tupperware and his Tupperware is actually all Yeti branded. Yeti meets Tupperware and we live in LA and people love Yeti and you said
See,
like
my
whatever.
brain-
Yeah,
My
like,
brain went
it's
somewhere
not
else.
innovation, but it's still there.
My brain went somewhere else, which
You're
is
still
like,
making a product, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but then it's not
Yeah.
innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if they have no money,
But a collab could cost you very little money.
that's true.
I
It
don't
costs you
even think
a lot of
like-
work and a lot of effort.
Yeah.
to me, I
Yeah.
think the first goal is, and I'm thinking about it slightly differently, which is like you want to create a world where if you walk in with a Tupperware thing, and you're probably right that you would need some branding to see that it's Tupperware. And I don't know enough about the product to see if you could do that. But you want to be that like, if I walk in with a soup in Tupperware, you want to go, that's probably good soup. Rather than if I walked in with it in Rubbermaid stuff, you're like, whatever, he brought his homemade crappy soup.
Yeah.
That's the mentality shift that you're trying to create, which is you're inherently going to make people think that whatever you put in here,
You care about more.
You care about because it's better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you can do that through just literally like a product, it's the exact same as suitcases in some way. It's a little bit different in another way. Because what you're trying to do is you're actually trying to add value to the product itself by what's inside it.
Yeah. Because I think that it's a smaller percentage of situations where it is like you're trying to one up someone with the status of like, I bring in my own lunch. I think that's like rare. I think most of the time the association with bringing in your own lunch is like, it's a money thing or like you kind of like, it's a little embarrassing,
And
right?
you can go directly at that.
Yeah. And how do you flip that?
Yeah,
I
you
think is
flip
like,
it.
because I think that's really interesting.
Well, what's interesting too is then you're suddenly positioning this thing as the anti-pizza slop container, right? Like this is your like, you know what I mean? Like this is the container for the best thing that you're bringing in sort of thing, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just want to go back to the start though and say, if there was no new products on the table, my assumption is that it'd be a pretty wide open brand situation right now.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's brands that have a little bit more association at Target or like on Amazon or whatever it is. But like, I don't off my top of my head know any brands in this category that are like really present.
Yeah, totally.
So without changing anything, if they were just a little audacious and had a little bit of a presence online, it would probably go a long way.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, totally.
And that's that like the affiliate programs, things like that. Like
I'm all
that's
for
sort
that.
of like,
But it's literally
phase
like
one,
Stanley.
like,
they
turn
have
that
nothing.
on. Yeah.
Their product is the same as the competition.
Yeah. But
And
like
they-
turn that
Tupperware
on,
even
get
has
that
one.
going. You know what I mean? And then it's the collaborations that are needed, I think. And then it's also product innovation too, I think is needed.
You could
to me that's the execution. And we were trying to, like, you talked about the food thing, then you guys talked about the 4 valuable things. I think these are 2 interesting ways in that then can inform what we do.
You can build a roadmap from there.
Totally.
The other interesting thing too is it's a little bit like the Nutter Butter thing, which is like people had heard of Nutter Butter, but they probably didn't know what it is or might not have known what it is. And like, that's the beauty of Tupperware right now is like, good news. Everyone's like heard of it. You don't need to explain it. You know what I mean? So right away, you're coming in at that spot.
I don't know, because if we're talking to like our generation has, but maybe the, a little younger millennials who already have purchasing power, maybe they don't. I actually legit don't know.
That's fair.
I just don't have that piece of information. Can you unpack Nutter Butter? What did they do?
What would you call, I mean, like, I don't want to, it's like, honestly, Biz, I don't know the words for it correctly. It's not brain rot, but it's like brain rot equivalent.
Yeah. Like, I don't even, it's
do you know what
basically,
brain rot is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like low quality, crazy sort of surrealist memes.
Okay.
They just went, and I'm not saying that,
like nihilist.
I'm not saying from a executional standpoint that they need to look the same as that, but I'm just saying there's a handful of brands online that are sort of like, okay, we don't have a lot of money to go through a whole process to get to a more refined and elevated execution, as well as like really thought out comms plans and all these things. What if we just get someone to act of a person just posting through their TikTok? You know what I mean? And it feels a little bit more like innate. It's sort of, I think it throws people off because it's this dissonance of like, this feels like just a person on TikTok, but then it's this brand that I've heard of before. And there's like the dissonance in that throws people off. But it, like, overnight, I think I read some case study on the Nutter Butter thing, and like within a month they had completely turned the company around. Like, sales went through the roof. It was crazy.
But also there's a massive connection between how you describe the behavior and already just the name of their brand, right?
Totally.
So there is a through line in there. We couldn't go like to Tupperware and say, just hire someone who really understands the internet and start surfing the memes.
Crazy,
right? We need to tell them, here's what you're gonna have. Here's the behavior you're gonna need to have on the internet, I think is what I'm trying to get at. And I'm not saying it needs to be hyper singular, but I don't think, like, if you're trying to sell a premium product and you behave like Nutter Butter, your chances of success, I would say, are low. That would be my guess, right? Because you're gonna tap an audience.
Premium though?
I mean,
but this is always where, like,
I don't think it's super premium.
It's not super premium, but
we're not talking about Rolex watches.
It's not super, it's not, but it's more expensive than other options.
Sure.
And way more sometimes. Right. And
really,
like, again, Nutter Butter, perfect. You're called Nutter Butter. Hopefully you're going to have some kind of behavior that isn't behaving like Louis Vuitton. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Louis Vuitton.
You need to have something.
Come on.
Yeah. No,
I'm not saying that.
Yeah. I agree. You have to have something, but I think for this category where it's all pretty, like, it's all pretty the same, just you're really,
you're trying to pull that out.
It's attention.
But that's what we're trying to do.
That's
like,
it.
Yeti has a product that's the same as the others, and they're owning a space in it.
Yeah. But that's high execution. The amount of time, money, effort that went into the Yeti brand is different than what we're talking about. This is just like,
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about rebuilding a brand. It's exactly what we're talking about. We're not saying we're going to rebuild the brand in 2 weeks.
They don't have any money though. That's what we're saying, right?
But the funny thing is, it sounds like you two are agreeing, but you're disagreeing. But you two are basically agreeing.
Yeah.
Like, this is a situation where we have to find a core idea. We have to find an audience. We have to find an insight. And then after that, I'm totally with you. It's sort of like spray and pray.
Yeah, but where we disagree is the after that. Biz, I think, is what I'm hearing is like, throw spaghetti at the wall. And I'm like, you can't afford to throw spaghetti at the wall.
No, it's not that.
No.
So you need, what we need to find is that through line to have the behavior that is like the Nutter Butter behavior. You see what I mean? And that is like, okay, who's the collab that we're going to go after?
Yeah.
For Nutter Butter, I don't know, whatever. If it were 25 years ago, Jackass, I don't know. Like, I don't know Nutter Butter. But like, who's the collab? Everything's going to dictate it. You see what I mean? That's what we're looking for.
So when you say that though, I don't know if I go so far as to say like it's one collab. Like, I'm still in the world of like,
we're saying the same thing.
Okay, great. We affiliates across the spectrum.
We're trying to find an audience, which we haven't defined yet.
Yeah.
And then we're trying to find like an idea, a semblant of a positioning, which we have a couple. There was the food one, there was the valuable things one. And then after that, you go and execute like in a myriad ways. And those executions include plenty of like internet behaviors that match what you've decided for your audience and your positioning.
Are they, so they're slightly more expensive. They are like if I was just to do like boring sort of like match the audience to the kind of like, you know, details of the product sort of thing, I'm still leaning towards like, let's call it like young millennial, Gen Z sort of, maybe older than that actually. Yeah. And then still like, cause like a lot of people just don't need this stuff. You know what I mean? Like you need to go after the people who need this stuff.
Yeah. That's why I don't even know if it's like demographics. You know
I
what
agree.
I mean? I don't know if it's like age, gender. I don't even know if it's income. I think that like,
cause it's like everyone needs a suitcase. You can't say,
I feel
let's go after.
Yeah. And I feel like this is one of the categories where the I don't know for sure, we'd have to look at data, but like the income to the price point, I don't know if there's like a association there.
That's interesting.
A correlation.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things where like sometimes it's the unexpected incomes that would really prioritize that type of premiumness. You know what I mean? That's where they're gonna put a little bit extra money.
Do you think
steal from
everybody
Stanley
needs it?
To steal.
Do you think anyone who's like making food at home needs it?
I mean, everyone needs it, but everyone might not want to pay for a good version of it.
Oh, that's a different conversation.
Totally. Yeah. But like everyone, I would make the argument right now, like most people need a container for water. Stanley found a way to kind of find a very specific container. And to me, if I go back to that too, and where we're starting to land with some of these positioning ideas, I think that's what you want to do, right? Like, I think actually the way you're trying to position this is a flex when you have people over. This is a flex when you're walking and showing your food to people more than, hey, this is a simple, easy way to keep food fresh.
Totally.
You want people to go like, again, and I apologize if it's like you see a cupcake in there, you think it's a Magnolia Bakery cupcake. You don't think it's a Ralph's cupcake because it's in a Tupperware container. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think you want to try and do. So to your point, when I start thinking about targets through that, it's mindset, right? Yeah. It's mindset of the type of people who kind of want to make sure that everything says something about them, that they speak to affluence and all that thing. And I mean, like, this is America basically at this point, but like, it is that thing of like, how do you make people feel like by walking around with this thing, they have better taste than you? Is there a way you can do that? Or just they know better than you about food, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where like we would have to investigate.
Oh,
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Of course. But it's exciting to like, not and just pretend we know.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, totally. To me, there's two different ways at it, which is like one of the things you're talking about, which is make it feel a little like elevated, make it feel like it's sort of saying something about your like your taste and your appreciation, and it's a little bit more like yuppity. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's like the Japanese knife in the kitchen. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if you're like not that good of a chef, it's like, oh yeah, you know what's up. You care. There's also another thing that I don't quite have the exact articulation for, but it's sort of like the American value of like putting a lot into your everyday life and the care of like the work ethic and the like, where it's still about like a status thing, but it's less about sort of classism, if that makes sense. And it's more about sort of like, I'm someone who...
You're considerate.
I'm considerate.
Yes.
Yeah. It's less of like, I made this like, I know I made this pasta.
I was going to go somewhere adjacent to this because I think if you look back at like the history of the company, it is more about, for the lack of better terms, it's more about democratization than upper class.
And upper class isn't the right term.
No, I know.
Like
but the thing we've been talking about, like valuable things and things, it's tough to stay away from that.
But let me give you an example of like, here's like a thing you could do online. Yeah. Which is, what if you partnered with chefs, and I'm not even talking about like French, 3 Michelin star chefs. I'm just talking about like whatever it is, like the best taco guy or whatever it is. And what you did is instead of plating, you made a series where they just made something look beautiful inside the Tupperware container. So that it was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. Now you can bring that and walk around with it, and people look at it and go like, I want to eat that. And you're kind of doing a whole new reconsideration really around what that thing is meant to be.
Just executionally, like the idea of it being like contained,
not just dumping spaghetti in it.
But yeah, I mean, you're sort of like reinterpreting like this prize thing under like the glass box, right?
Exactly.
Which is like,
yeah,
kind of interesting executionally.
People love unboxing.
I just don't know if it's like the right audience for the most volume, like bang for their buck. You know what I mean?
Know.
Which is like sometimes stuff like that works for like the niche brand that cares deeply about like aesthetics and like a certain type of quality. It would require a very intentional rebrand across everything, and it would have to be beautiful, and it would have to be very high quality.
Here's my thing.
That's the thing. How do you make that, how do you make that idea, but not luxury?
Well, this is my thing is like, I mean, to me, it's a little bit going back to Nike, right? Which is like the irony of Nike is like Nike stores, which are like these beautiful cathedrals to athletics and the Nike brand, sell a fraction of what the discount stores selling Nike for $40 a pop do. But the brand itself still continues to elevate its representation like that. And I think in one way, shape, or form, that's what we're talking about here. And again, that's why I was like, not 3 Michelin star chefs, but if you had like insert popular LA chef, and then they said, I'm going to make my tacos. And at the end of the video, you saw them put them in, then put like some lovely little like decoration in it, and then close it up and go like, and that's brought to you by Tupperware. Yeah. You go like, oh, that's an interesting consideration of what that product is meant to be.
I think it's what you said. Consider it. Like,
consider it. Exactly.
Like
it's a great way of putting it.
A person who cares is going to use Tupperware.
A person who cares is going to use Tupperware. You know what I mean? And then you just do that.
Working in this industry is so crazy.
But I could see how you could build I could see how you could build a brand off of that. Yeah. I could see how you could build a brand off of this idea of like, this is a brand of consideration. You care about what goes inside this thing, and you love what you're gonna, and you're gonna enjoy. And like this is like isn't like plating just basically a mind trick where if you see something plated well, you're gonna think it's more delicious?
100%.
It's just using that trick over and over and over in a framework that people haven't seen it used before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels like a wide open opportunity to me.
See, now we're excited.
Now we're excited.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm sure now we probably have like whatever 5 minutes left or 2 minutes left, and we'll be like,
what do we have left?
Oh, we have 2 minutes left.
Oh my God.
And then we're like, we need another hour.
Oh, man. It's weird how it does really take an hour to kind of get to a place where you start to get excited.
I mean, normally if we talk about a brand, we show up in the room and we have like, we've read a bunch of stuff.
To be
before.
clear, if there's brands listening and who are interested in working with us, we spend a lot more than an hour thinking about stuff.
Yeah, this one makes me a little nervous.
But this one is just
funny.
But this is also like that. This is a classic example of like what we do so often in our conversations, which is we all get excited, then we wake up tomorrow and we realize we were wrong, but we all think we're wrong for different reasons, which creates a whole new conversation and all of that great sort of thing. But as a first round is very interesting.
And there's a lot of things we don't know too.
A lot of things we don't know.
Consider it could take you, I think it's wide in a good way at this stage. It could take you many places, many different, everything we've been talking about executionally, many different collaborations, partnerships. Even once you have money, the kind of people you want to bring in as ambassadors or celebrities or whatever.
It also helps you avoid do you remember the Nice Things podcast? Like it also helps you avoid that sort of pratfall too.
Keep talking.
Well, that like a want to like consideration. No one's ever going to get dinged as like, oh, how dare they be considerate of their things? Like that's something I think people are happy to be proud of and wave a flag on.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we don't dare to talk because we know there's a minute left. So I'll wrap us up. That was very fun. That was very, very cool. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think
Super fun.
it's fun because we never get to talk about a brand that fresh with no prep whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. We never ever. When we get in a room and chat, usually we're like our wheels have been spinning for days already, and we've been doing some research and all that. So it was really interesting, like the raw thoughts around like a brand that Biz thought it was a category. So that
great.
was
Great
really
starting
good.
point.
I mean, we talked about the audience a bunch after like circling around demographics and income. We landed more in a definition that was around people who manage things in a way that say something about them. And then we landed like recently on like just considerate people, which could span incomes and
all
and
kinds of
demographics.
different corners of culture too, right?
We talked about two different potential angles from a positioning standpoint, celebrating the food, but then the considerate people is linked to more like the brand of consideration, the container to protect your valuable things. And that's kind of where we went. And then I think executionally, it's like, then you got to go and leverage the internet. You got to go and find the right people, influencers, memes to write on, and start there before you go into collaborations and higher spend item in your marketing budget. But I think there's potential in considerate. I'm still like, I'm gonna drive home and be like, how do you get away from the premium thing? Yeah. You see what I mean? Like again, it was a brand that was started that it was literally people throwing parties. Yeah. It was about getting together. It was about, there was like,
there's interesting to
there's a big democratization, I think, that happened there. Yeah. So I think we've barely scratched the surface, but it was a very, very good chat. Yeah. So who am I going to start with? Anyway, I have a theory. I'll see if it's proven. Simon, did we crack it?
I'm extra hard on this because this is what we do. Yeah. And so like there's a very easy frame of reference for this, which is like, would I feel comfortable going in front of a client and saying we cracked it? And no, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like we have not cracked it, but I think what this is what you hope for in the first hour of any project that we're lucky enough to work on, which is like, your wheels are spinning, your juices are flowing, and you got some things already that you find really interesting and exciting about where you're headed. Yeah.
Biz? No. I think we have, to your point, we have like a framework of how we would approach it. It's a really interesting project, potentially. I think what I'm most interested in is, yes, you need to find singularity and sort of a direction for a brand that doesn't have a whole lot of direction right now. But I'm interested in also what's like the turnkey way to get them started so that it's not just hey, we have this huge project for you and it's going to take 5 years to be in full realization of it, And I think that's sort of like, I think the things to figure out, right, is the phasing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, no, I'm with you. We didn't crack it. Yeah. I have like 3 or 4 other things that I wanted to talk about that even, we didn't even get to. And then everything we would need to do to verify that there's actually a possibility to do it. And
it's so funny, when we talk about like changing the weather, we're like, we cracked it. But when it's something like close to what we do, we're like, oh no, there's like a million other things to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. If you like the show, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you have questions, thoughts, or feedback, shoot us an email at hello@crackitpodcast.com or on Instagram @crackitpodcast. Music done by Michael Anastasi, cover art shot by Mick Mint, and all things audio and video taken care of by Nathan Nash. See you next time.